Make the connection to the connection, of course.
Morning, everyone. As Tony told you, I'm Keron. Yeah, I'm 27 years old, so I would have exited here at age 18. But I am a son of a mother of 12 children. Yes, she has 12 of us. And she really could not financially cope in providing for all of us. So one of her friends went overseas, and at the time the agency was called Children's Services. That is correct. And so she called them and said, I have a friend who lives in Jerusalem. She has a lot of kids, but she just cannot manage. So the government intervened, took about 7 of us from our mother, took us into government here. I was at Pringles home for about 2-3 years. And then I was fostered at age 6-7. You know, when I was pulled from my family, I thought that I lost everything because we are cultured and we are socialized to care our children's home as a family. And so I thought the worst thing happened to me when I was taken from my mother. And I struggled with that for some time. But as the years went on and time went by, I recognized that I was being nurtured and I was being molded. Did my CXCs. I went to Kingston College, I was a very good school. That's something to say. That's not talk about that. Right? Did my CXCs at Kingston College. But let me just give you the defining years of my life that helped to direct my path now began in high school in about the third form. When I entered Kingston College, I started out pretty decent in the first form, but thereafter, I just became a very idle boy. I would play truant, miss classes, disrupt classes, mock the teachers. And everybody was just upset with me. The teacher was like, we can't understand why can't Keron behave himself. I wasn't a bad boy, like in gangs or fight, but I was just very disruptive, and I was like the class clown. To the point where my classmates started calling me Lucifer. But at the time, I did not know that was the name of the devil. And that went on up to the 9th grade, or 3rd form. But in the 9th grade, I sat the final year exams. When I sat the exams, I did 13 subjects for the school year. And at the end of the school year, I only passed 1 subject. And I remember when I was told I need to go pick up my school report. I saw the secretary in the office and she said, Keron, if you see a voucher in the report, it means we have accepted you. But if not, it means that you are not accepted back into the school for September. So I signed my name, I collected the letter, and I was very afraid to open it. But she said, open it, man. I opened it and I saw the vouchers. That means I was accepted. And I was really grateful for that. But I went home with the report. At the time, my foster mother was Dr. Paul Household, the former principal of Stony Primary and Junior High. And she took me from Homestead, because my first foster mom, she migrated to Canada. Then I went to Homestead for about 6 months while I was going to school. Then Dr. Bowes heard of me and said, this young man needs to be at my home. And so I was heard. When I went home with the report, he said, Keron, look in my house. I have 3 daughters. One is a lawyer, one is a doctor, and one is a prominent teacher. This kind of report is unacceptable. You cannot go to school and only pass 1 subject out of 13. And you're not a dunce boy. She said to me, Keron, let me tell you something. For September, don't look for anything new. If you're going back to school with the same old RT shoes, you have got to work for what you need from me. So I said, all right, Dr. Bowles, I hear you. When I went into the 4th form, for the very first time, the first report, I got the highest average in my class. and I was named form captain. Now, this is the thing about Kingston College, my high school. There are two campuses. So first form to third form is on one campus, and some of the third forms to sixth form is on the other campus. So teachers from the previous campus came over to the new campus and said, that young man, Keron, he's a form captain. They said, yeah, he's a bright young man. They said, but we don't know him as somebody who is, respectful. And somebody said to the teacher, well, he has changed. He has really made a big turnaround. He has really been transformed. But they didn't know what accounted for it. But let me tell you, you have to recognize in life that there are certain points in your life where you have to draw the line. And you have to make some choices. I decided that no longer would I idle in class or chat. No longer would I idle with friends who really weren't interested in school. Because here's the thing. I had friends in school whose family were there for them, supported them 100%. Yet still they failed to perform at the level they should have in high school. It tells me that they did not care. And I said to myself, I have got to make my life worthwhile. I have got to make myself into a meaningful, workful young man who can contribute meaningfully to my country and to society on the whole. So I started improving in the fourth form. Of course, after going to school in the same old khaki, everybody laughed. Well, I'm not now going there, old khaki, old shoes. But that's all right, because I recognize that then that was not important. What was important is that I was focused, and that I was performing, and I was doing what was required of me at the time. Went to fourth form, went to fifth form. Again, I got form captain. This is something that my previous teachers just would not accept. They're like, Keron, form captain, please. They wrote me up, because I was just very disruptive. And I remember when I went to the fifth form, did my CXCs. I got 8 CXCs with distinction, 1s and 2s. I think I got 1, 3 in geography. And I also received the Student for the Year award from my class. And that was a surprise to me too. At my graduation, everybody was Keron. We don't, from that point, I've been at Kingston College. He has been nothing but trouble. But you see, I recognize that people can't define me. And what people say about me, it really doesn't matter to me. What matters is how will I respond to it positively. You must understand, that you are charting your course in life. And there are people who are there to help you on the way. And there are some people who try to get you off the way, or distract you, or to detract from where you're headed. The first morning I wore my white shirt and purple tie in the sixth form. I had a French teacher, Mademoiselle Samuels. And she came to me and she was like, Keron, I have to confess something to you. I said, what is that, Mademoiselle Samuels? She said, some years ago, I told a person that you would come to nothing good. And Keron, this morning when I see you in your white shirt and purple tie entering into the sixth form, I had to eat my words. And I was humble and I said, well, Miss Samuels, I have matured and I recognize what is important and necessary for me as a young man, and that is my education. And she was almost in tears because she was so overwhelmed. Seeing me, she would have never pictured me even passing the third form, much less reaching the sixth form, But what I'm saying is, I'm going to make it short because others are coming. What I'm saying is, you've got to realize what you want out of life, and the opportunities that present themselves, you've got to maximize and make the best use of them. And so, you're here at camp this week, you would have been tutored, being nurtured, being molded. And this week, it may only be a week, but what you're being taught, what you're being exposed to is for a lifetime. And so, I would love for you to take this, all of this that you have gotten this week, absorb it like a sponge, and utilize it in your life. See yourself getting somewhere else one day. You see, had I listened to my teachers and those who would have thought so little of me, I would have kept myself at their level. But I recognize that there is something greater for me to achieve. And so my attitude towards my schoolwork changed. My perception of myself changed. I said, there is no way I'm going to be the boy that they think I can be. I'm going to be the person who I know I can be with God's help and God's strength. And of course, you can never any at all, do what you're doing or pursue anything without God's leading, without God's intervention. Because I came to learn and understand that God in your life is all that you need to make it work. Alright? I accepted the Lord after I finished high school. And I really have seen where God has worked. You know, He has really helped to elevate me in all the areas of my life. And so I owe it all to Him. But there are persons who the Lord, influential persons who the Lord put in your life to enable you to acquire some of the things that you need. When I left Dr. Polly Bowles' house up in Stony Hill and started working, I applied to the University of the West Indies to read for a bachelor's in media and communication. Did the entrance exam, I was successful. I mean, over 500 persons did that exam, and they only chose like the best 80. You know, so it was highly competitive. But God was with me. Yeah, but God was with me. And then I said, if I'm going to study, I'm going to need money. So I applied for a student loan, as most students in Jamaica do. I applied for the student loan, and I needed a guarantor. So I remember Mr. Robert Williams, who at the time was a manager at Maxfield Children's Home. I said, Mr. Williams, I need a guarantor. He was like, well, Keron, I'm guarantor for 3 students already. I don't think I can take you on anymore. I said, you sure, Mr. Williams? He said, yeah. But then he said, Keron, I heard of some scholarship program some time ago. Let me check with this together and get back to you. I said, all right, fine. Anyhow, I actually got somebody else to be my guarantor, and I got the student loan approved. Then, like a couple of weeks after, I got a call from Mr. Williams. Keron, come down to my office. I need to speak to you really the scholarship. Went down to his office. He said, Mr. Gila says scholarship is still on, and I have a form for you to fill out. I said, you know, the student loan approved. He said, Keron, fill out the money. Fill out the form. I said, okay, sir. Fill out the form and send it over. And then about 2 weeks after, he called me and said, well, you know, the scholarship has been approved. But initially, it was for a year. I was like, for a year? Didn't pay any money. So I called student loan, told them that what had transpired, I no longer required the loan, and I sent a letter requesting them to turn it down. But then he called me again and said, Keron, you know what? They have approved, not only has approved the loan, for the scholarship rather, for the full tenure of your studies at the university. I was just thanking God because here's it that my loan application was approved, student loan was ready to disperse the money, but God was working on something. You see, God working in mysterious ways that you just can't understand. You can't easily follow, and that was me, because throughout my life, there are certain things that in myself I could not follow it taking place, but I just believe God. You understand? I just believe God. The Bible says, no, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen. And so with faith, I just persevered. But what I want to leave with you is that you've got to be resilient in whatever circumstances you're in. And by resilient, I mean you've got to be totally determined that you are going to ensure that you make it through until you reach the top. You cannot allow anything to deter you or prevent you from going on. You see, because your life is pretty much what you will make it to be. Yes. So it's all up to you. It was up to me when I used to say, I'm not gonna listen to those teachers who would put me down. And mind you, I may have deserved some of it because I wasn't the best behaving boy. But I knew that there was something in me, something good, that if I just be focused, you know, if I just be true, and if I just allow myself to become more mature and apply myself to what I was expected to do, I would achieve. And I thank God. Today I am graduated from the University of the West Indies, second class honors, bachelor's in media and communication. Did some work at the Ministry of Health, did some work at Wealth Magazine. But I was led to John the Jamaica Constabulary Force, where I am now working at the Commissioner's Office at the Constabulary Communication Network, CCN.
Go for it. How did you do in your training here
So, when I was at Jamaica Police Academy, which is a training school, I didn't know much of what to expect, but training. But I was a part of the historic batch 100, and there's a student council body here that represents, students' affairs, welfare, and I was, surprisingly, there were so many other persons who were qualified at the tertiary level, but I was selected as the president of the police academy for that time. And, we worked so well that when I was leaving, it was the very first time ever a probation or somebody who was just graduating from the police academy was awarded by the Police Federation for my astute leader. I knew nothing about this. It was just on the last day they called me and said, "Mr. Grant, we have something for you." I said, "What is that?" They're like, "Mr. Grant, we recognize your astute leadership with your batch and all you have really just held your own. And we want to recognize you." And so for the very first time, this has never happened before, unprecedented in the police force, I was awarded by the Police Federation, and I was also given passage to attend the yearly Federation conference at Starfish Hotel last year. Yeah, Breezy Starfish last year for the entire time, all expense paid. Being in the midst of the core of what the Federation does, really good exposure at leadership at the highest level with the commission and everybody. And I just give God all the glory. It's not my doing, but it's just to understand that we are connected to the power source. In all things that would seem impossible now become possible.
So a couple of things. That one is that we're going to entertain a Q&A, just a brief Q&A. I'm going to have time for three questions that you can ask to Mr. Grant. But before we go to those questions, there was something else that happened there that hadn't happened before. And it was a result of, it really reflected from your heart. You know what I'm talking about in terms of recognition that,
yeah. Something that I did as president of the police academy at the time was that I recognized that all these years, the instructors at the various ranks and levels have been working, but have not been recognized. And I said to my executive body, you know what, when we're graduating, we're going to award all of the instructors. No, I must say, I was the most favorite person with all the instructors because I don't know if it was fear because of I was doing so well or what, but some of the instructors did not take a liking to me. As a matter of fact, some of them spoke down to me and tried to insult me. Didn't pay that much attention. But the very first in school, there was an award that I should have received. I was told that was the award for leadership. And my classroom instructor and other instructors, they fought it. They were like, "No, Mr. Grant can't get that award." And I heard of it. And the entire academy was upset. They were like, "Mr. Grant, you deserve it, you should have received that award." And I said, if I don't get the trophy, that's fine because the work follows me. Yeah. At that time, I did not know about the Federation's award that was coming up for me. And so, we surprised the entire academy. We bought plaques and engraved everybody's name on it. So, on the day before graduation, I had the ceremony, and when I called some of the instructors to come up, they literally sat for like 5 minutes in disbelief. Because they were saying all this time, some of them were trying to work against me, that everything that we do would have failed. And here it is now that this young man is calling me up to give me a plaque, something I've never received before. But you see, if you're saying that you believe in God and you're following Christ-like principles, then you get, the Bible says, no, do good to them that you give, because you must overcome evil with good. So what we put into practice was just the principle of God. And all those persons who thought ill of me or just did not respect my work in the police academy, after they received those awards, they all came to me, and some people tell me that they were like, they couldn't even talk. When they see me, they hang down their faces. They could not believe that I am one of this kind of nature, but I said, it's not me. It's not me, it's just God leading me and in me that allow me or cause me to be who I am. Because in life, I recognize that as long as you avail yourself to the use of God, He will do wonderful things.
3 questions. I would like does anyone have questions for Mr. Grant? Any questions? Okay.
Yeah, very much.
Wait, repeat the question.
Are you in communication with your mother?
Are you in communication with your mother?
Oh yeah, very much. We actually, throughout my entire period of being foster care, I was communicating with my mother. Because it's just my father that I did not know until age 19. But what I realized is that because she could not afford to take care of us, we had to go into government care because there was so much of us. But she constantly communicated. She now lives in the Bahamas. She's been here for about 10 years.
But you know your stepmother very well. Your stepmother is very much in your life.
Oh yes, my father's
How you
wife.
recognized your father. Once you recognized your father, you realized you had passed him many times.
Yeah, because right when I just met, yeah, that's funny.
I'm his other mother.
Karen remembers a lot more of these things. Yeah, the first time I saw my dad, I actually walked past him. And then someone was like, oh, Keron, here's the father. Really? Yeah, my dad really did not play a role in my life. And, but I hold no grudge against him. You know, I'm like Joseph who said, that which you meant for evil, God meant for good. Because let me tell you, and also in my family, I have siblings who became very bad men, gunmen, and robbers. And some have died and some are in prison. And I'm saying, maybe had I stayed with my mother, my life would not have probably even been existing now. Because one of my brothers, he was killed by the police years ago on a robbery attempt. Another went on a robbery attempt. Luckily, he's died for spirit, but he's in jail, so prison serving time. I have other siblings that got into a lot of trouble, trying to traffic drugs and all. So, initially, when I thought being in government here would have brought my life to a demise, it was actually for my success. And I'm grateful to God for that.
Just one more question, Mr. Grant. You have any questions? Okay.
My father. Well.
So the question was, what about
my father? Oh, where my father is concerned, we don't have a bond, really, because all those years that he would have been absent, I've tried to connect with him and build a bond, but because my dad is pretty much still in his old ways, so I respect and acknowledge him as my father, but we don't have a father-son relationship because he's still in his old ways, and that's not where I'm going. But we are pretty much good in terms of respect for each other and acknowledging him as my father. I cannot remove him as my father, you know? But I am grateful that the Lord has allowed me to come thus far, where I can go carry a hate or a grudge for him, because I'm really happy I did not grow with him. I really am, because I would not have been who I am today. Of course, he's extremely proud of me, and he would sometimes want to pass me off as his big son who achieved this and that. You know, because now he wants to be all part of the harvest. Yes, glory. Oh, my son, university, you know, but he's my father. What can I do? You know? But,